Tanks. Massive, relentless machines that changed the face of war forever. In every major conflict since World War I, tanks have played a crucial role, crushing enemy lines, leading charges, and turning the tide of battles. But among thousands of tank clashes, a few stand above the rest. Today we're counting down the top 10 greatest tank battles in history in the WWII 10. Battle of Ericourt, 1944. In September 1944, US and German tank forces collided in the foggy fields of Lorraine, France. The Germans launched a surprise counteroffensive with new Panther tanks, expecting an easy victory. But American forces, mainly Sherman's, outmaneuvered them using clever tactics, hidden positions, and devastating artillery. Despite being outgunned, the US 4th Armored Division destroyed over 80 German tanks, proving that tactics and teamwork could outmatch superior armor. Source 9, Valley of Tears, 1973. During the Yom Kippur War, Syrian forces launched a surprise tank assault into the Golan Heights, sending over 1,000 tanks. Israel's 7th Armored Brigade, with just 127 tanks, held the line for days under constant assault. They were outnumbered 6-1 but used high ground, superior gunnery, and grit to repel wave after wave. At one point, only 3 Israeli tanks remained in the valley, but they still held their ground. It was a true example of courage against overwhelming odds. I-8, Battle of 73 Easting, 1991. The last great tank battle of the 20th century occurred in the deserts of Iraq during the Gulf War. A U.S. cavalry regiment engaged the elite Iraqi Republican Guard during a sandstorm. The American M1 Abrams tanks used thermal sights to spot and eliminate Iraqi tanks before they even knew what hit them. In under an hour, U.S. forces destroyed over 160 Iraqi vehicles with no losses, showcasing how technology and training define modern armored warfare. 7. Battle of Brody, 1941. As Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union, one of the largest tank battles in history unfolded near Brody in Ukraine. The Soviets fielded over 3,500 tanks to halt the German advance, but poor coordination, fuel shortages, and outdated tactics led to chaos. Though massive in scale, Brody taught both sides vital lessons about tank warfare and showed that sheer numbers aren't enough to win a battle. Number 6. Battle of Prokhorovka, 1943. Part of the Battle of Kursk, Prokhorovka saw over 1,400 tanks clash in a ferocious, close-range fight. German Tigers and Panthers faced waves of Soviet T-34s in chaotic melee. Tanks fired point-blank, rammed each other, and burned side by side. Over 300 tanks were destroyed in a single day. It was a tactical draw, but a strategic Soviet victory that halted Germany's advance for good. 5. Battle of Chawinda, 1965. During the Indo-Pakistani War, Chawinda became one of the largest tank battles post-WWII. Over 600 tanks from both sides fought for control of this critical area. The Pakistani forces dug in and held their ground against a larger Indian offensive. The result was a brutal stalemate, with Chawinda earning the nickname the Graveyard of Tanks. Number 4. Battle of El Alamein, 1942. Fought in the scorching deserts of North Africa, El Alamein pitted British forces under Montgomery against Germany's famed Afrika Korps, led by Rommel. Over 1,000 tanks were involved in the decisive Allied counterattack. With better logistics and coordination, the Allies won, turning the tide in North Africa and dealing a serious blow to the Axis war effort. Number 3. The Battle of Kursk, 1943, the largest tank battle in history. Over 6,000 tanks, 2 million men, and thousands of aircraft clashed on the Russian steppe. The Germans launched Operation Citadel to encircle Soviet forces, but the Soviets were prepared, with deep defenses and counterattacks. The result? A catastrophic German defeat, marking the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany on the Eastern Front. 2. Battle of Cambrai, 1917. The first major tank offensive in history, Cambrai proved that tanks could break trench warfare. British forces deployed over 400 tanks to smash through German defenses in France. Though gains were temporary, Cambrai showed the world that tanks were no longer just prototype number 1. Battle of the Bulge, 1944. Germany's final major offensive in WWII was a desperate winter attack through the Ardennes. Thousands of German tanks and troops launched a surprise assault. Caught off guard, American forces rallied, especially at Bastogne, where airborne and tank units held despite being surrounded. General Patton's Third Army raced north and counterattacked, breaking the German lines. The battle left over 500 tanks destroyed and sealed the fate of Nazi Germany. From the trenches of WWII to the deserts of Iraq, these tank battles show how strategy, courage, and innovation shape the battlefield. Tanks aren't just machines, they're instruments of history. Which battle impressed you the most? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic military history.